Hey, this is Alex here again, and in this gameplay, I will be telling you guys what I will be bringing to this channel in my solo commentaries, and I will also be trying to complete my introduction from the promo video, because yeah, the introductions were really brief in that video and didn't really say much. So I guess I'll go over what I'm going to bring to the table via my solo commentaries first. So, as you can tell, this is a social gameplay, or competitive as deemed by Reach, and you're probably going to see a lot more of these from me because I'm in college now and I don't really have the time to play this game seriously in arena and whatnot, and I actually really haven't had an interest in playing Halo seriously for a long time. So the majority of the time I hit the social slash competitive playlist in matchmaking, so that's probably where the clear majority of my gameplays will be from. So I love Big Team, as you can tell by this gameplay, sort of. But I love a lot more players than Big Team, so even though the majority of my gameplays are going to be from social, I'm going to try to hit as many playlists as I can within the social. Screw it, you know what, I'm just gonna, whenever I say social, I mean the competitive playlists in Reach. I just don't see why they're labeled competitive when guests can play in them. So for further reference, whenever I say social, I mean the competitive playlists in Halo Reach. Anyways, in order to try to inject some diversity into my material, I will try to hit a good amount of playlists within the social portion of Halo Reach matchmaking, because I don't want to bore you guys. Anyways, in terms of what I'll be talking about in my commentaries, there are going to be more commentaries like this one, just personal stuff about myself, because I'm not really interested in helping you guys get better. It's not like I don't care, but because, like I said, I don't really play this game seriously, and I don't think I'm really in a position to be giving out tips and strategies on how to get better at this game. So I will be focusing on the aspect of this channel which involves just trying to bring the community closer together and trying to get to know you guys a little bit better. Also, based on people's reactions to my blog posts and to comments I write on some of my videos, people like it when I speak my mind on controversial issues, so I will try to bring some more of that in my commentaries. So pretty much I'll be turning those comments and those blog posts into a commentary form. So for some of my videos, you will be hearing me give my thought out, structured opinions on certain issues. LG versus social is a big one, and I probably will discuss that at one point or another. Halo 3 versus Reach is definitely going to be discussed eventually, because that's one of the biggest topics right now, and comparisons within the other games in the Halo series are probably going to be discussed as well, along with aspects I like and don't like about each of the Halo games. So yeah, stay tuned for those. And yeah, I think that's pretty much pretty much all of what I'm going to cover in my commentaries. So personal stories about myself as a person and as a gamer, and my opinions on controversial issues. I might do videos giving really basic tips for you newbies out there. I know that Adam is definitely going to be trying to give tips and strategies in some of his gameplays. Yeah, like I said, I might do it, but it probably won't happen, but it's always a possibility. I'm always open to what you guys want. Moving on to the introduction, I guess I'll just start by telling you guys more about myself as a gamer. So I guess best place to start off would be when I started playing video games. So I started playing video games at a really young age. I think the first video games I played were educational games that my parents bought me for the computer. And then I also played educational games in a class called Computer Lab at my elementary school. Yeah, like there was a class that was actually called Computer Lab, but it was like a mix between playing educational games on computers and exercise. But it was like 10% exercise and then 90% computers. Like before we went into the Computer Lab and played these educational games, we would do like one lap, which is a fourth of a mile, and then some jumping jacks or something, and then we would just go into the lab and play like random educational games like Number Munchers for like 30, 40, 50 minutes. So yeah, a lot of my initial gaming experiences were in that computer lab, and then my parents also got me a good amount of educational games in the library for me to play at home. I don't really remember much of them, but one I really remember was I think it was Zoom Beanies, The Logical Journey or something. I don't know. That game was just really, really fun. Yeah, I remember playing that a lot. I actually found the CD for that game a couple months ago, and then I actually played it just for nostalgic purposes. But anyways, in terms of non-educational gaming, that started in, I think, the very beginning of elementary school, so first grade. The first games I ever played were the Pokemon games. I didn't own a gaming console of my own until like 3rd or 4th grade, so I played like Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, I think Pokemon Yellow as well. The first Pokemon games, I played them on my friends' Game Boy Colors / ordinary Game Boys, and it was just really, really fun. I was also a huge Pokemon fan, like many people of my generation back in the day. I followed the TV show for a good amount of years, like up to Johto, I believe, and the game was like just as good as the TV show, even though it was so simple. But the first Pokemon games actually have a perfect 10 on IGN.com, and those are pretty rare, and I believe that those 10s are deserved. But yeah, I also played on my friends' N64s, like Star Fox and stuff, and I also played other installments of the Pokemon video game series like Snap and Stadium. And I moved away from Nintendo consoles in 3rd or 4th grade. That's when I got a PlayStation 2. It was my very first video game console, so when I got it, I was really, really stoked. My parents bought it for my brother and I on Christmas, and it came with these 2 games, Rayman something, and Gran Turismo 3. Rayman was pretty fun, but I don't know, I just couldn't finish it because it was really confusing, and even with the walkthroughs, I couldn't finish it. So I only played it like a 4th of the way through, but Gran Turismo 3 I played a lot more, because like, you can't really get stuck in a racing game. And I've always liked racing games, like, for a long, long time. So I logged countless hours on that. And one of the main high points of my story as a gamer was when I got the Ratchet and Clank and Jak games for the PS2. Those were, like, 2 of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. The majority of my PS2 gaming hours are between those 2 series. They were really, really fun, and they were really, really creative. The main thing those 2 series had going for them, in my opinion, was the creativity. There was just a ton of creativity behind the guns and the missions in the game, and it was a very diverse experience. But yeah, I played those up until 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Pretty much up until I discovered Halo. Oh, yeah. How I discovered Halo. So I discovered Halo through a friend of mine, Nate, and in about 8th grade, in 8th grade, we were both taking this science class together. I'm not really sure if it was a specialized science like biology, physics, or chemistry, even though it did focus mainly on physics, but I'm pretty sure it was just a general science class. Anyway, so we had this fat, mean guy as our professor named Mr. Ricks, and he would make us call him Dr. Ricks because doctor is a much more prestigious title than Mr., and like he would like throw a bitch fit whenever someone didn't call him that. It was really weird, and he was morbidly obese. To ruin our Thanksgiving break, he gave us a group project for which we had to build like a small elevator, and there were a bunch of restrictions on how to build the elevator in order to make it harder, like on what materials you can use and like how fast it had to go. So I was in a group with Nate and this guy named Dramil. Dramil fucked us over pretty early in the project by moving, so after like a week into the project, it was just Nate and I working to build a friggin' elevator. And we would pretty much go to his house to work on the elevator, and after like as we met more and more, we became closer and closer friends, and one day he invited me to come over on a Friday to play Halo 2 with a bunch of his friends and him. So I accepted, and I went over that day, and I just had a blast playing Halo 2, even though I was really, really bad. Because, like I said, prior to that, I was mainly logging hours playing Ratchet and Clank and Jak, and those games, number one, they're not first-person shooters, they're third-person shooters, and number two, they don't require any aiming ability. How they work is you, like, move your reticle like near the enemy and just kind of snaps to the enemy and then you fire. So when I was playing Halo, I was having a difficult time grasping the need to actually aim where your bullets go and the first person aspect of it, like I mentioned earlier. So after I had such a great time playing Halo 2 with Nate and his friends, he invited me over again, and I of course accepted, and pretty soon we were all playing Halo 2 together every Friday. And as time went on, I kind of got the hang of which game types the group liked to play. The two game types we played the most were Warlock Swords and just ordinary Rumble Pit Slayer on Ascension. So just like SMG Start, 2 nades, etc. And Warlock Swords, I really love Warlock Swords because the Halo 2 sword was, simply put, really, really badass. I really don't like how Bungie castrated a sword for Halo 3 and Halo Reach, and using the sword to kill someone in Halo 2 was just one of the most satisfying feelings in the game. And in Warlock Sword, I actually remember that we had to ban the camo because the guy in camo was immune to lunge locks, which made the camo pretty broken in FFA swords. And Ascension Slayer, what I remember most about that is that because I was a noob and I didn't want to go negative 25 each game, a strategy that I used very often was camping. I'm kind of embarrassed by it now, but what I would do is I would go into the top level of the big tower with SMG, sometimes a shotgun if I got lucky, and I would hide in the corner, and when I would see someone coming up the ramp on my radar, I would just spam nades, and this usually got him, but if he made it past the nades, I would just shoot melee and take any nades that he had and go back to my corner. And yeah, this worked surprisingly amount of the time. And I actually went positive a couple of games with it, but it was a very assholey thing of me to do, and I'm not like that anymore, don't worry. It looks like the gameplay is over, so I'm just going to wrap it up real quick. With most of my videos, I will be asking you guys a question in order to generate discussion, since that is one of the main purposes of this channel. So, my question for this gameplay is, what game types did you play the most when you first started playing Halo? And if you started off in Halo 2 and your answer is not zombies, or Tower of Power, or Warthog Justing, then I would really love to hear about it. And make sure to explain what the game type is if you have like some really unique, out there game type that only you and a small group of friends played. So, I've gone on for far enough, so peace out.